Hello and welcome to the show on Mondays. Now this isn't normally what the show on Mondays looks like. You guys are probably going crazy. What's this? What's this Loki background? That's just my wallpaper that I made. Anyway, the point of this video is I'm editing the show on the streets right now, and I thought it'd be cool to show like kind of behind the scenes inner workings of how an episode of the show on the streets is made. So I guess this is really just how I edit videos. I mean, it's kind of the workflow of the show on the streets. It's not really how the show on the streets is made totally, because like there's obviously filming and stuff that goes into that. But I figured people who edit would be interested in seeing this, and people who don't would be interested in maybe seeing this. Who cares? Alright, so I'm editing episode 3 right now, which comes out tomorrow. And it's on DC stuff, but we're gonna go ahead and close that out and open up the episode, let's open up the episode 1 files. Alright, so let's go ahead and close the episode 3 stuff. So what I do for the workflow, regarding this is, when I started the files about 3 weeks ago, after my friend Kevin and I filmed, I opened up everything. I imported everything into this project file, which is already a template that I have called TSWI template, which just has here we've got all the bumpers that I use for the show, the end slates, we've got the music and the sound effects that I use, the some kind of like the intros and the lower thirds and stuff like that. And that's like all that's preloaded into this template, and it's also got a sequence that's pre-made with all that stuff. So I just opened that up just so I would have a base of everything that I needed, and then I imported all the footage into this footage file, and all the footage is the audio files and the video files that come from my camera and my Zoom. And after I import all that, I edit the audio in Audition. That's why all of these say audio extracted. And then, since I need to sync everything, because I use 2-system audio, I went in and I'm actually, oh no I'm not, I'm done with this one, so I don't want to, the playheads are in a very specific spot right now, but this interview is done. I'm done with Tim and Tony's interview. So I went ahead and went inside each file, I made a new sequence. This one's interview 2, Tim and Tony. And I dropped the audio, the edited audio, and the video, went ahead and synced it up, and I'm not going to tell you how to sync video, because this is not an editing tutorial by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. This is just like kind of a behind-the-scenes look. So then I dropped everything into here, and I synced it all up, and I cut it to where it's just the meat of the interview with the ending left on, because I don't know what I was going to use. I cut the beginning out, but, and then all these cuts that you see in between are just where I cut to drop it into the timeline. So the way that I would do it is I would pull up on another monitor the questions for that topic. So, for example, for episode 1, it was general comic book questions, and the first question was, do you read comic books? And the way I did that is I made another sequence called episode 1 interviews, and started going through each interview one by one, checking to see if I asked that person or those people the question, and if they responded with a good response or something like that. So I believe this interview starts off with Tim and Tony. So, I started off, since this was the first episode of a new round of people, I let everyone introduce themselves, and that establishes that everyone is who they are, and then here I ask John, do you read comic books? And then I ask why, and so the way that I did that is I would just go into John's interview, which I'm not going to mess with the playhead, but, so I would go into Tim and Tony's interview, I would find where I asked, do you read comic books, grab that, and then grab their answer, just cut it, copy it, and then paste it into the interview section. And these things right here, the little
No.
That animation right there, I made that in After Effects. And it's the only reason you can make it easily in Premiere, but I just made the little square box in Photoshop, imported it in After Effects, animated it, added the motion blur, and exported it as an animation preset. And what this allows me to do is have a transparent video that it allows me to have a transparent video that has After Effects motion blur inside of Premiere, so I don't have to use dynamic linking, so it doesn't take forever to export and stuff like that. And then, just to extend it, I took a screen cap of the actual thing down here, and just extended it as a PNG. So yeah, this is the interviews thing. So this right here is just this is the meat of the video. This is the interviews. This is everything. This is what you come to see. This is everything that you want to be on the show on the streets for. And all this like junk down here, the audio editing and stuff, because apparently I don't know how to interview people and point the microphone at them correctly. Which is a thing I'm working on for the next round, is knowing, because I didn't know how this was gonna go. When I was actually there, it looked like it felt like I was way closer to the people, but obviously, as you can see, there's a lot of space here, and I need to get rid of that. So, I'm gonna break some personal bubbles next round. Anyway, after I'm done with the interviews section and everything's cool there, all the audio's done, all the markers are done, and this actually gets more involved in the episode 2 interviews section, because we have all of the, I started asking questions about the characters. So I've got the pictures of the characters here, and here's my little fancy Paul Rudd edit, that's there, and just all this junk that's in here, and that's the episode 2. So after I'm done with the interview sequence, I go into the, make a new sequence called episode 1 final. And this is the actual video. This is what I export and you see on YouTube. So this is that sequence. So what I do is I filmed, I think the night after I filmed all the interviews, I filmed these bookends, what I call bookends, because they're the bookends of the videos. They're the video ends, whatever, bookends. They bookend the video. And it's just a big sequence with synced video. It's the same concept of syncing the interviews and stuff that I have all of the bookends in. So the welcome back to the show on the streets and the ending. So then I cut those in. I add the lower third, which this is the old lower third, which I will be changing this week. And then there's that, and then the intro comes in, and then I just drop the interviews sequence in there and just let it play. So that's the rest of that. Don't do anything to it because I already edited it all. And then I come back in with the outro, the end of the bookend. The end part of the bookend, not the book part. I don't even know, where is the book part? I mean, I guess because they're bookends. Anyway, off topic. Then the outro happens, then the end slate comes in, and I believe I left a blooper in here. It wasn't really a blooper, it was just a funny part with Jonathan. And after I do all that, I add the music in, sound effects. There's no really sound effects on this, but add the music in, and then the video's done and I export it. And that's all fine and great. And I guess I could show you the export settings that I use. People are always interested in that. It's just a H.264 thing. I have a preset that I use for everything. Everything's just match source pretty much. Except down here the bitrate settings is target 12, max 64. I do 1 pass. A lot of people do 2 pass, but I don't feel that it's really necessary. I also do entire sequence. Here are the audio settings. I don't really touch them. And then here's multiplexer, because that's very important. And that's not even sarcasm. Multiplexer is the most important thing. It's what stitches the audio onto your video. So yeah, that's how the show on the streets is made. Well, at least the editing process of it. Yeah, it's fun times. So there's your show on Mondays for today. This was a very impromptu thing. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. I forgot to say it. Yeah, bye-bye.